Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Pfaff alongside Tom Leyden, and we're here to bring you Westwood football. Tonight, the 1-5 Westwood Wolverines play host to the 2-4 Norton Lancers in a battle to eliminate one of these two teams out of the cellar of the Tri-Valley Large standings. Tom, welcome tonight.
Thank you very much. It was great to see the senior night festivities. Brought back some memories from back in the day. It's really a special day, and if nothing else, say what you want about the season these guys have had so far, and every single one of them will tell you they're not pleased with where they are. This is an opportunity tonight to really do something special in front of the home crowd.
So we'll take a break for the national anthem, and we'll be back with the kickoff.
Gentlemen, remove your caps, and let us all join in the singing of our national anthem. You need to go. Thank you.
Well, as you mentioned, tonight is senior night for the Wolverines, honoring the Westwood football and cheerleader seniors who have been with the program for 4 years now, honoring the parents and the kids, because the parents have been with them every step of the way. I know myself, having had a senior graduate football player, and now I have a sophomore on the field. It is a special moment to be recognized collectively.
And all of the senior players presented their parents with flowers before the game. Same with the cheerleaders. Had a picture taken. And then I love the big group picture with all the senior players and the cheerleaders together with their parents standing behind them. That's the one that goes in the yearbook. That's the one you look at 40, 50 years from now and say, wow, remember that night.
And a nice other tradition that the Gridiron Club does for the Westwood seniors is they put together a photo album of individual shots, and it's really nicely done, and that picture will likely find its way into that album.
Well, let's go. Wipe everything else clear. Who cares about the records? Just get a win tonight.
Tyler Elliott doing kicking duties for the Lancers. Ball is mishandled by the Wolverines. Still loose. And it's recovered by Norton. Looks like that was Jack Hannon. John Hannon had a similar miscue last week against Medfield, where the ball turned over at the 2-yard line last week against Medfield. This time, it's at the Westwood 24, and that's where Norton will take over.
Well, you're thrown right into it now. Backs up against the wall. Not the way you want to start the game, obviously, but still tons of time. Now, if the defense can come up with a big play, you get a sudden change situation here, and sometimes you can switch the momentum the other way if you come up with a big sack, if you come up with a turnover yourself. But they got to dig themselves out of this hole.
Norton's quarterback is Tyler Elliott.
Tyler Elliott under center. They run a double tight. Pitch to the wide left, fumble. It looks like Westwood is signaling they have it, and they do. There's your big play, Tom.
And there you go. You know, that goes back, believe it or not, to the coaching and the philosophy of Bo Schembechler, of all people. He always stressed to his players that the biggest play was the play after a turnover, because you can turn it right back the other way if you take the right intensity to the field. So wipe out those first two plays. They're even on the turnover sheet. This is where Westwood should have gotten the ball originally, and let's play some ball.
From their own 24.
So Westwood follows up their bogey with a nice birdie there. They'll start 1st and 10 on the 24. Reed Wilson calling out the signals. He's got receivers to his right and to his left. looking right. Ball is knocked down at the line of scrimmage, falls incomplete.
Wilson's pass is incomplete.
One thing I noticed in the way that Norton just played defense right there, they got McKinley Kearsley right in the grill of Jake Antonucci. It's pretty clear when you play this Westwood team who's the most dangerous player on the field, and they're going to take him away and see who else can beat him tonight.
If there was a chart in front of us showing the offense of Westwood, you'll see the large percentage of positive, productive plays would go through the hands of Jake Antonucci. Looks like on the wideouts they're playing a press coverage, a little softer on the slot receivers. Give is up the middle. I believe that's Colin Fay with the ball. He's met there by the defense. The short gain will bring up 3rd and 9.
Number 34, Colin Fay, the ball carrier. A gain of 1 on the play, 3rd down.
So it's a passing situation. We'll see if they elect a short catch, get some confidence for Reed Wilson, and try to get the first down using the legs after the catch, or as they've liked to show early on, is going deep for Mr. Antonucci.
Already made an adjustment. You see Jake's playing actually in the slot on this play, if I'm not mistaken. Let me take a look. I can't see his number. I think I'm right.
They're going long. He's got Jake Antonucci. Well, we guessed one way or the other, and they went the other.
Well, there you go. They had Jake Antonucci in the slot, which was a change from the first down play where they had Jake out wide to the left. They moved him in where that soft coverage was, and I'm actually surprised that Norton did not move up their defensive back to slow Jake down off the line of scrimmage. But 75 yards later, you got Westwood on the board, and after that start where you muff the kickoff, you can't ask for better than that.
No, you can't. So on comes Nick McQuarrie, the senior kicker for the Wolverines, to try to make this a 7-0 lead.
For Nick McQuarrie in for the extra point try. Wilson holding.
That kick is good.
The kick is good.
He's been good all season, one of the shining stars of this team. And as we get set for the kickoff, you get a chance to take a peek at some of the uniform accessories that these guys are wearing today on both sides, actually. You can see both Westwood and Norton have some pink, and that, of course, is in support of the fight against breast cancer. October is Cancer Awareness Month. We've seen that around the NFL. They're supporting the Crucial Catch initiative, and here it's one of the great things that has always rallied the troops and rallied the community, and everybody has their own personal story. So throughout the night, you'll see guys with the pink towels, with the pink socks, with the pink sleeves. McQuarrie's got a pretty interesting get-up there where he's got one pink sock and one white sock.
Maybe he's got a lucky kicking sock.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I'd be wearing the same sock I wore all year myself if I've had as much success as he's had.
If that's what makes the ball go through the uprights, then that's what makes the ball go through the uprights. So Norton will have a second crack at offense following this kickoff for the Wolverines. And looks like we have Jake Antonucci doing the kicking duties, kicking off. That's something new we've seen. And we got a seam down the left side. The Lancer return man gets the ball up near midfield. A nice field position start for the Lancers.
Antonucci with the kickoff.
Have not heard as to why McQuarrie would not be doing the kickoff duties. He's been handling them all year.
Always like watching the big guys up front. Westwood sending out Connor Powers, Owen Plouffe, Colin Best. These are the guys who are going to really dictate the direction the plays go. Are they going to be able to get the push up front? I always love watching the defensive linemen, particularly early in the game, because that's where they start feeling out the other side who's going to be able to win that battle throughout the night.
The give is off the right side. Stop there after about a gain of 3. Ball being placed right at midfield stripe.
That's good pursuit. You got a lot of guys on the ball. The only thing that concerns me about that, and I always love lots of hats on the football, you got to make sure that you don't get caught in a fake. You don't want to get caught in a play action. You don't want to get caught with a reverse or some sort of flea flicker. We've seen that a couple of times this year where this team's been caught off guard. So let's hope that that doesn't happen at all tonight.
They give him a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Inside handoff off the left tackle. Good for about another 4 yards. That'll leave them with 2 yards to the line to gain.
Couldn't have asked for a better weather night. October 20th, we walked in. It was 63 degrees as we walked out of our cars into the booth. That's just astounding, and apparently that's going to continue throughout the weekend. So very thankful when you think back to the last time we were here, the dreadful weather we had during Westwood Day when they were hosting Holliston. So this is much better, to say the least.
3rd and 2 for the Wolverine defense. They go with the quarterback sneak up the middle. And it looks like they got the push that's going to be enough for the first down. Wise play call there.
You can look at the results from both of these teams and get a good feel for who the power teams are in the TBL because they both struggled against the powerhouse teams. Medfield beat Norton 55-10 and then obviously beat Westwood 35-6 last week. They both also struggled against Hopkinton. Hopkinton beat Westwood 48-7 and Hopkinton beat Norton 27-0 last week.
1st and 10 for the Lancers. Play action, looking over the middle. He's got a man wide open.
Ooh.
Ball is dropped.
Had it. That's a lucky break for the green. That's a ball when they watch back on tape, they're going to say they want back. It was right there down the seam. The good news is you can try to make an adjustment and make sure that doesn't happen again. That could have been trouble. He had that ball inside the 20-yard line.
Looks like he was right between the linebacker and safety help in the cover 2. And he found that area in between the coverage. Westwood needs to make sure to tighten that up. 7:37 left to go in this first quarter. Westwood in the lead, 7-0 our score. Pitches off the left side. A couple broken tackles there before he's finally met. Forward progress team stopped.
That is Lucas Combs. Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to step on you there. Lucas Combs, 5'11", 185-pound junior. He's got some good pop.
They were able to seal the edge, and that broke the play outside. It was a gain of 7. This would be 3rd and, let's say 6. 3rd and 4. Short 4, long 3. Double wing, motion, and rolling right. He got some pressure. He's got an open receiver. Holds on. That'll be enough for a first down for the Lancers.
Came across the tight end from the left side of the line, got probably 7-8 yards downfield. The safeties for Westwood both converged on the same wide receiver deep, and so that mid-range pass was wide open. They got good pressure on the quarterback on that play. Credit to the quarterback for getting the ball out. Wasn't the strongest pass, but it was effective.
We'll likely see some miscues this evening on 2 teams, combining for only 3 wins so far this year. Give us off the left tackle again, wide open hole. Brought down after a long gain of about 20 yards.
Number 42,
Bailey Lenhart, the junior running back, listed at 5'10", 170.
For a first down.
That's going to put 1st and goal at the 6-yard line for the Lancers.
It is 1st and goal for Norton at the Westwood 6.
Westwood's got to figure out that off tackle counter that they've been running. Give us up the middle. He's met there after a short gain.
That's a good job by the guys up front. I mean, this is one of those drives where you've gotten them in passing situations a couple of times. They forced a 3rd down and 4, so it's been a long drive. These guys are obviously at the point where they're not tired because it's early in the game, but as it relates to this specific drive, they might be showing some fatigue. So this is some key defensive plays coming up right here.
Nope, Norton operates out of the same set each time, it looks like. The double wing off the right tackle. And the Norton running back falls into the end zone for a touchdown.
McNichols, the ball carrier.
Michael McNichols is the lone back in their backfield. He's a senior, 5'11", 155. Also plays linebacker on defense.
It is a 3-yard touchdown run for McNichols.
So that makes the score 7-6. The point after attempt coming up. 5:14 remaining in this first quarter.
You get the idea it might be one of those nights. Might be one of those nights where you wish you took the over.
Kick is up and through.
Curved in. I don't know how that one got through there.
That might be his signature because they intentionally set up on the hash mark on the right side.
That looked like you on the par 4 dog leg left, bending it around the trees.
The intended draw is what we call it.
You've got a good crowd tonight. Get those 50-50 raffle tickets between now and
That is not an
halftime.
easy angle from the right hash mark in high school or college football. The hash marks are much wider than they are in the NFL. So that makes that angle much more difficult. So that just must be where his comfort zone is for kicking. If he has the choice, he'd like it on the right hash.
We did on Boston 25 a couple of weeks ago a game of the week between Melrose and Stoneham, and neither team kicked extra points. Every single time that they scored a touchdown, they went for 2, and I would say both of them converted at higher than a 50% rate. Made for a great game. It ended up going to overtime, finished 44-38. But you knew whenever anybody got into the end zone, they were just lining up and going for 2. Sometimes those PATs are an adventure.
Hannon Antonucci deep. Ball is going to go out of bounds. That's not a good effort. That's a penalty. That'll be Westwood ball brought out to, I believe it's the 30 or 35 according to high school rules.
We've seen a lot this year. We've seen a 1-point safety. That's one takeaway I'm going to take from this 2017 Westwood year.
In person. Yeah, I agree. I've never seen that. So you mentioned common opponents. Did you mention the Norwood opponent?
No, I didn't. They both got a win against Norwood.
Norwood, sadly, has entered this final week of this regular season at a 0-6 record, losing 2 of their 6 games, 1 to Westwood and 1 to Norton. Westwood won 34-0, and Norton took a little more effort. They won 29-27. That was actually Norwood's largest offensive output for the season in a single game. It was against these Lancers. So Westwood looking to answer Norton's touchdown, which answered Westwood's initial touchdown. 5:14 left to go, 7-7 our score. Westwood 1st and 10 on the 30. Going deep again. He's got his man. Out of bounds, it looks like. He was there.
I'll bet we got a great look at that one, too, because the camera's right along that sideline. And Jake was wide open. He caught the ball, just brutally stepped out of bounds.
Incomplete. The catch made out of bounds. 2nd and 10.
It's there, though. You get the indication that these guys might be able to do that
for the life
night.
of me, I can't understand why they had single coverage on him.
You know, last time we were here, James Dawson broke his leg. That was on the night that they played Holliston in the rain. It was one of the first plays of the game. It's great to see him back here. He's got a cast, wearing his number 74 jersey, but he was, seemingly in good spirits as he was celebrating senior day with his parents. And I got a great story we could share maybe after this play about what happened after that game when he was in recovery at the hospital.
3 receivers to Wilson's left, 1 to the right.
Whoa.
Mishandled fake there. Looks like he thought running back Colin Fay was to take the ball. Not sure that was a read option. I don't believe they have that.
Wilson on the keeper,
but nonetheless, it was a keeper and a loss of 3.
It's quite possible Colin said, I want no part of this, Reed. You take this yourself because I am not going to have 2 guys swallow me up. So James Dawson, when he was in the hospital, was obviously either still in surgery or recovering, was not able to be seen, and Ed Sheeran showed up. Ed Sheeran was at Boston Children's, and apparently he was poking his head in to say hello to a number of different kids, and I think it was James' mom who obviously recognized Ed Sheeran and then asked him to give a little shout-out on the phone via video to her son, and Ed Sheeran was nice enough to do that. So one of those great pick-me-ups and makes a terrible situation into a little bit more of a positive memory.
The silver lining. He wished the Wolverines well on the remainder of their season. Sadly, they have not answered that, but in terms of wins and losses, that is. It's been a learning season.
Another team I saw Norton lost to was Millis. And Millis is an interesting situation because, they were Millis-Hopedale last year, combined team. They won the state championship. Hopedale's no longer a part of the program. Millis had 28 kids on the sideline, and they were a machine. They also have, I think, 18 seniors. So of the 28 that were there, 18 of them were seniors. So they are very experienced, and they played very well against Norton. They also, the night I saw him, played very well against Medway. And Medway put up a heck of a fight. They were hosting the game that night. It was the week of Rosh Hashanah. And I was really impressed with both sides. But Millis is a team that has a lot of talent. They can throw the ball around the field, and they played real well. And, you know, Norton put up 21 points on Millis, which says something about how Norton was able to execute offensively that night.
Millis is 5-1 in the TVL small. Wilson rolling left, looking over the middle, finds Hannon. Gets back some of the lost yardage, but not enough for a first down.
Complete to Hannon.
It's going to be about 3 yards short. Maybe 2. That'll set up 4th and 2.
Fourth down and 2.
Maybe he was hoping to pick up the remaining 2 with his legs after the catch, or maybe just cut the pattern off a little short.
Look at the offense still out on the field. Got the ball on their own 39-yard line. This is Barry Switzer-esque right here. They're going to maybe go for it on 4th and short. We'll see if they maybe try to draw them off sides. We've seen that many times in the past. But they are spread out. It's not a bunch formation. Be very curious to see if they actually snap the ball here and try to convert this short 4th down.
Wilson in the pistol. They are going to go for it. Sprinting to his right. Now he's punting. Perhaps it was his option. Gets a good roll for Westwood. Down to the 20.
You know, I like that idea. I do. As long as you're not going to get stuffed in the backfield and you pick up any sort of pressure, that's a read option for him that if he sees he's got some space, go ahead, run it around the end and try to convert the first down. But if you don't have it and you have an opportunity to kick that ball and get it downfield, that's about as well executed as you could possibly imagine when you draw that play up. Pretty good job. I'm impressed with that. You don't see that a lot, so that's a little bit different.
Well,
at their own 19.
It was this year that senior Nick McCory transferred into Westwood High School, and prior to that, all last year, Reed handled the punting duties, and they did so using the rugby-style kick, so it was very similar to what we just saw. Connor Powers ambling off the field quickly. Give is up the middle. No, it's around the end. Sorry, my mistake. I followed the fake.
It's all right. Good thing you're not playing linebacker.
Yeah.
So Colin did scurry off the team. You said quickly that's a relative description when you're talking about a defensive lineman, but he got off. They may have had too many men on the field. We'll see how long he stays on the sideline because I want 70 playing on the defensive line as much as possible.
Connor is dealing with an ACL issue that he's elected to play through the season with, but they've lost Powers, Colin Best. This is the first game back for these seniors on that defensive line, and it's been a big hole in their defense all season. Up the middle run is not over yet as he continues to plow through the green jerseys. Looks like that was McNichols on the carry.
So tell me a little bit more about the injury, the ACL injury. Was that something he suffered during a practice, during a game? And I mean, is it torn? Do we know? Is it torn?
I believe I've been told it is a tear. And he is wearing a brace. Colin Best just came off the field. You may have seen it. He, too, is limping, dealing with an ankle issue. The pitch is to the right, but we're going to have a no play.
No play. There's a flag.
False start on Norton.
Well, that says a lot about what this means to these guys and how they appreciate how important they are to the team. And look at him amble out there. You know, he is kind of waddling around out there, but it just goes to show you the heart of a kid who has just put so much time and effort into this over the years, and particularly on a night like tonight when it's senior night, he definitely wants to be out there and make a positive contribution.
Well, and that's, I think, the rationale behind this. He doesn't play any other sports. It's his senior year. He really wants to be on the field for this season.
Great job. We'll be watching Connor Powers tonight. Hopefully he'll make some plays.
The give is off around the left side. Stopped there. Short of the first down by about 2 yards. So that'll set up 3rd and 2. Maybe a long 2, short 3. It's very difficult to see the letters from our vantage point of these Norton Lancers. We've become accustomed to the Westwood players and how they run. And
right.
Even if we can't see the number, we can get a sense of who it is. But this is my first time watching the Lancers, and it's very difficult to pick out the numbers.
And truth be told, we watch the replays of these broadcasts online or on TV.
Off the left tackle goes the tailback in a power I formation. First time we've seen that. Just an isolation play to the tailback.
And when you're watching the replay or the broadcast on TV or online, it's crystal clear who it is. They get a great shot of it with the camera, but unfortunately we don't have a monitor up here, so we don't always get a good look at exactly who's carrying the ball.
That's exactly right.
So sometimes trust your own eyes and don't be too critical of the play-by-play man.
Right.
That's what we take away from this broadcast tonight.
That was Lucas Combs who ran that ball for the first down. 1st and 10 on the 45, and we're going to have a timeout taken by the Lancers. Looks like that's going to be a full timeout. First of many, likely, this half.
1 minute, 1 second to go here in the first quarter. It's 7-7. It's been pretty good so far. I mean, that Antonucci catch down the right sideline would have been nice to stay in bounds. That would have changed things around a bit. That would have probably made it at least a 13-7, if not 14-7 game. But
I'm not sure. He was single coverage, and he ran out of bounds in the pass route. It wasn't after he caught the pass because the play came all the way back, so he was an ineligible receiver, or he simply caught it out of bounds. But you shouldn't flirt that close to the sideline running your route.
Sometimes the ball's in the air. You don't know exactly where you are. I can understand it. He'll be frustrated. It happens. That's a nice keep right there.
Quarterback keep. Up the middle he goes. Tyler Elliott, the junior quarterback, called his own number on that play, and that was good for a big gain.
Well, you bit yourself a couple of plays ago on the fake. That's one thing that they've been doing a good job with so far is the misdirection and the decision-making by the quarterback perhaps on an option. Does he give the ball to the running back or is he going to keep it himself? So they're probably getting some feedback from their coaching staff down to the guys on the sideline, letting them know that there might be an opening in the middle of the defense you could take advantage of.
Back to that double tight formation. It's a counter off the right tackle. Another big gain on first down. That's first down yardage. That's good for 12. It's going to set up 1st and goal at the 10.
That's a big kid.
I've noticed the defensive linemen now that they have a number of them in their arsenal, they're shifting them in and out a lot each play. And all these inside runs, I'm wondering if, as we approach the end of the first quarter, and the clock about to wind down, I'm wondering if it's preventing the Westwood defensive linemen from finding the cues and getting in the rhythm to identify the offense that the Norton Lancers are putting in front of them.
I saw 85 carry that ball, and 85 is listed on their program as Hunter Murphy, who's a 6'3", 220-pound sophomore who typically plays wide receiver. Is that the kid who carried the ball? That seemed very. It's like, where did that come from?
If we had instant replay, we could verify that. But
we're going to ask Jay. We can do that. We have the ability to ask the guy who's got the binoculars. Was that 85 who carried the ball the last time? Who was it? What number carried the ball? That was 33. All right, we're gonna go with the guy who had the binoculars.
So the 8 looked like the 3
How does the 85 look
like
33? I'm not buying it. I'm going to keep my eyes and see if Hunter Murphy gets an inside handoff.
There is a Lens Crafters right down the street. So we're about ready to start the second quarter, that is. 11 minutes on the clock. 7-7 our score. All knotted up between the Westwood Wolverines and the Norton Lancers in this climb out of the cellar game. Both teams are 0-3 in the Tri-Valley Large portion of their schedule. Lancers are 2-4 overall. Westwood 1-5.
And Westwood has not won a home game. The game they won was on the road, so they'd like to send these people home happy, that's for sure.
Lancers back in that power I. The pitch is a right sweep. Avoids one tackle. Big gain, about 8 yards down to about the 2-yard line.
And that was 33, Chris. That was Lucas Combs. That was not 85.
No, Lucas Combs is 5'11", and 85 Hunter Murphy is 6'3". It's a 4-inch difference there. We probably noticed that.
Just wait. They're going to run it. They got to play in their playbook. 85 on the counter trap.
At the tailback position. 2nd and goal from the 2 for the Lancers. Back in that power I formation. Give us to the fullback. Stopped there by Colin Best. Et al. Combs take the ball up the middle, and he's stopped for a loss of A yard,
Down by the interior for a loss.
half a yard.
That's great. That's like when you walk into the cafeteria at lunch and you're first in line. It's like, this is great. I'm just going to eat. And that's exactly what Colin did. He just gobbled them up. Couldn't come at a better time when you're trying to defend your goal line. If you can get some push and get yourself into the backfield, I mean, that's exactly what you're hoping for. Now, if I'm one of these defenders, what I'm thinking about more than anything else, as much as stopping the pressure towards the goal line that Norton's trying to come up with, let's get the ball. Try to get the ball out of there, see if you can force a turnover.
Off the middle, off the left tackle, missed tackle there by the safety coming up, and he dances into the end zone for a score. So at 9:30 left to go, Norton takes the lead with a touchdown run 3 yards off the left tackle.
So Lucas Combs is coming at you with some speed. He's also coming at you with some power. He was able to show you there. He hit somebody and rolled off him, so he's got the ability to make a secondary move after contact. I'd like to put a linebacker square up on him, almost shadow him, and make sure that he can't get himself free like that, because that's the only way. If they're blocking as they're blocking and getting their initial blocks on the line covered, you got to figure out a way in that second tier to get a guy man on that running back, because you can't afford to have one guy throughout the course of the night just consistently beat you. So Tyler Elliott also handles the kicking duties for the Norton Lancers, and his kick sailed through the uprights, giving them a 7-point lead, 14-7 our score, 9:30 until halftime. Westwood needs to try to answer here. They have not shown to have the offense to come back from large deficits, so they would like to maintain the offensive production that their opposition has shown. Today's games in the Tri-Valley Small, Ashland is against Millis, it is at Millis. Dedham is at Medway, and Bellingham is at Dover Sherborne. And in the standings for the Tri-Valley Small, we mentioned Millis. They're atop the league at a 4-0 record, league record. Dover Sherborne, Medway, Dedham, and Ashland all have 2-2 records within the division, and Bellingham is 0-4 in the Tri-Valley Small competition. Incredible to think. Last week of the regular season, 7 weeks in, the playoffs start next week, and here we go. I mean, these kids work 2-3 months to try to get geared up for this time of year.
Kickoff taken at the 8-yard line by Jake Antonucci. Brings it out to the 33-yard line, so a 25-yard return.
Tripped up by number 28, Aiden Morris.
And now's the time of year that if you're not in the playoffs, becomes a big challenge for the athletic directors around the state, because this is where they start juggling their schedule making and trying to get new teams on the schedule, see who can face who wants to make a trip to play who. It's an interesting dynamic of Massachusetts high school football.
So Westwood starts up 1st and 10 on their own 33-yard line. And we're going to have a timeout called, as it looks like we have personnel issue. 10 players on the field for Westwood. Jack Hannon was off on the sideline. Looks like Coach Pindell thought he was in there on offense. Jack, he kind of limped off the field after that blocking for that opening kick for Jake.
Brad called a quick timeout. He just turned around and looked at him and said, shrugged his shoulders, says, "What's up?
What are you doing? Why are you here?" Communication. It's key on every level, every aspect of life. Wilson. The give is to Fay up the middle. It dances, avoids a tackler, comes up with a nice 6-yard gain on 1st down, make it 7. It's going to set up 2nd and 3. Some shifty moves there by Colin to avoid the first level defense. Got to the 2nd level.
It's a slippery run by Fay there. Got himself low. Probably first contacted after 3. So to get 4 yards after your first contacted there, pretty good. He fell forward. I was impressed with that one.
Similar formation. Fay to Wilson's left. He gets the give from Wilson. He's going to be very close to the 1st down, and it looks like it's going to be enough.
Fay, the ball carrier.
No. I saw a referee with the, oh, there is a flag down. And I believe we're going to have a holding on Westwood.
Killer. You know, in a season like this, when obviously the team is struggling, and here's the call from the ref.
And the penalty is against Westwood, a holding penalty.
What you want to see from a kid like Colin Fay, who's a sophomore, is some sort of maturation. Give you some glimmer of hope that when you come back for 2018, he can attack that season with some confidence, with some experience under his belt. And he's a different player now than he was even just 2 months ago. You know, he's clearly gotten better, and he's clearly gained more confidence, and that comes from the fact that he's been in the backfield pretty consistently.
It is 2nd and 10 at the 33.
So it must have been a spot foul on the hold, as it was a 7-yard penalty. So it was 2nd and 3. Now we're at 2nd and 10. Wilson looking right. Got Antonucci. Gain of about 9.5. It's going to be just shy of a first down. Nope, they're giving him enough for first down yardage.
You know, and that was Hannon. That was Hannon who was in there. It's
was it?
Yep.
My mistake.
That's all right. We're even.
LensCrafters. This game brought to you by LensCrafters.
Well, he's 28, Jake's 22. So once they're in the middle of a play, it's tough to tell those two apart.
Westwood at their own 43.
So they get the penalty yardage back. 7 minutes, 25 seconds left until halftime. Wilson looking to the right. Look, the pass was intended for Brian Murray. Looks like Murray cut to the inside and Wilson threw it to the outside.
I also think it slipped out of Reed Wilson's hands. He didn't really throw that one that well, and it was a bad throw right out of the chute. He also had Antonucci wide open on the left side, and I think Jake is letting him know when he came back. But that's fine. I mean, he was open on the right side, too.
If he did it once, he can do it again.
Yeah.
He's done it a couple times already tonight.
He's going out left again.
Also interesting to note, another player back is Dylan Mahoney, sophomore, who was injured on the first game of the season. And this is his first game back. So Wilson, ball tipped at the line, falls incomplete. Pass looked like it was intended for Hannon. That same 8-yard route. It's going to set up 3rd and 10 for the Wolverines.
3rd down, 10.
Just goes to show no matter how tall you are, and Reed's one of the taller quarterbacks, I'm sure, in this league. If that defense is good and gets their hands up at the right time, it's tough to get the ball through the trees.
So they'll stop the clock with 7:13 to play till halftime. Coach Pindell now electing to take a timeout to talk this one over. So you mentioned this is the last game of the regular season with this new playoff format. The regular seasons are ending quite early. And it used to be that there were times when teams would play each other 3 times. And Westwood Holliston, that happened, I believe, 2 years in a row, where they played regular season game, a playoff game, and the Thanksgiving rivalry game. And the MIAA, we're told, has done everything they can to make sure that that is no longer happening. 3 times in one season, that you don't see that in the pros.
No, there's some familiarity there.
So going forward, Westwood will be paired with all other non-playoff teams, I believe from also Division 4 South. And those teams are Silver Lake, North Quincy, Hopkinton, Plymouth South, Dartmouth, Pembroke, Norwood, Westwood, obviously, Dighton Rehoboth, Nauset, and Milton. And one of the draws there you don't want to have to get is the Nauset draw in an away game. As I know the baseball team drew that. That's quite a long drive out there to the elbow of the Cape.
Yeah, and these guys I know went down to the Cape last year, and that's when they were eliminated by Falmouth, which was a very good team last year. And that's a hike too. Obviously, Nauset's even further.
Wilson looking left on 3rd and 10, finds Antonucci there, and he's going to bring the ball just shy of the first down mark. Set up 4th and about a half a yard. Take that back. My eyesight is back. Bad again. Dylan Mahoney, first catch of the season, I believe. Made a nice move after the catch to break free of the tackle. Picked up another yard or 2 after that. So it's 4th and a short yard.
Well, we'll see how they line it up. Don't forget last time they ran that little option play around the right side where Reed was able to kick it. This is a little bit shorter, 4th and 1. You're on the opposite side of the field. You're in some positive yardage here. It looks like a little bit of a different lineup, but you might see the same option.
Shamar Hall in the backfield first time today. He gets the handoff, and he is very close. Let's see where they spot this.
I think the ball came out. I think the ball came out.
27, Shamar Hall, the ball carrier.
No indication as yet.
I think it was
Referees
the beanbag.
Conferring.
They were having some conversation up in the press box. I think someone
And
threw a
we're gonna
beanbag in there because the ball came out loose.
The referees are calling timeout for a measurement.
So they gave the ball to Westwood, and now they'll figure out whether or not they got enough.
I think on that
yardage.
spot he is going to be short. Without the aid of instant replay, I don't think there's obviously there's no way we can refute that spot. But if they are short, as they pull the chain taut, it's going to be a turnover on downs.
Well, I think, and again, I wish we did have a replay so we could look at it, but I think what happened is that the ball came out and there was a scrum for the ball, and then whoever recovered it got the ball right there at the 48-yard line, which was just a tad short.
So Norton sets up with good field position, the ball at near midfield on their own 48-yard line with 6:13 left to go until half. Norton looking to add to their 14-7 lead. Back to pass over the middle. He's got a wide open receiver. The safety help was over on the left side, but he threw it to the right.
That was a
of the
great
defense.
catch. Unbelievable catch. I mean, he caught that in stride, not an easy catch because it was almost over his head. And he had to look back over his helmet to catch it, so a great job. And imagine you were half a yard short of a first down that would have had the ball on the other side of the field. It's kind of the story of the season.
Yeah, game of inches. So Westwood now has likely 4 plays to defend the goal line. Clock is running with 5:45 left to go. Elliott pitches to his left, and he dances into the end zone.
That's Lucas Combs again. And if it's me, like I said the last time, there's a linebacker who does nothing but shadows him. You know, I don't care where they send the motion. I don't care what they do with their movement up front.
5-yard touchdown.
You got to make sure that you got hat on hat and make sure that there's somebody on 33 no matter where he goes.
That didn't take long.
No.
2 plays, 52 yards. And with the extra point attempt here coming up,
Elliott
Norton
is in for the extra point try.
goes up by 2 scores.
Firstly holding.
And
The kick is good.
kick is good.
Try successful.
Didn't get the
21,
signal from the
Westwood 7.
other referee there. I was waiting to see but he was looking to retrieve the ball, I guess.
So we talked about Colin Fay and how he's shown some promise because he's gotten some opportunities. I know that when you're not here during the home games in the booth doing the games, you're in the stands, you're watching the team. It's a little bit of a different vibe. But just give me your thoughts on some of the other guys who've shown you something. Some of the other guys who, while this hasn't been the most successful season so far, you've looked at them and said, you know what, with them growing up and them maturing, I think that there is some positivity to look forward to.
Well, we've seen Shamar Hall early in the season. He's taken a bit of a back seat in terms of priority on offense. But as you saw, they brought him in there at 4th and short. He has very solid foundation to run from. Very good short yardage back, despite what happened on that 4th down. As you mentioned, Colin Fay has been getting a lot of reps at running back, and he has matured. Still showing some trouble catching punts. He's fumbled quite a few, but maybe that'll come along with time. Kick return by the Wolverines by Jack Hannon. Nope, that's Antonucci.
Returned the kickoff.
One of them needs to change their pink socks or something.
All right, so we know. Here we go. Right, Antonucci's got the pink towel in the front.
Spotted at the Westwood 43.
I don't think Hannon does.
Wolverines.
So as of now, there's a penalty on the play.
Oh. And it looks like Westwood's walking back.
There is a flag on the play.
And we have a hold, which may be why that hole was so open.
And a penalty against Westwood.
You can check that on your computers, hitting the rewind button.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
I think they gave him a block in the back on that
Penalty
one.
for the block in the back.
Oh, not a hold.
10-yard penalty.
So Westwood sets up 1st and 10 on the 13-yard line.
From the 18-yard line of
18.
Westwood, 1st and 10 Wolverines.
Well, they've moved the ball, been stalled, and that's giving the ball over on downs at midfield. I think Coach Pindella might be questioning that again. Going deep over the middle for Brian Murray. That pass falls incomplete.
Wilson's pass incomplete.
They had 3 receivers running towards the middle of the field. When that ball hit the ground at the 50-yard line, there were
2nd and 10.
7 people around where it was. You're not going to succeed running a play where there's 7 people where the ball lands. You got to get some people in space and give them a chance to get open. I don't know where the breakdown came there, but there were definitely 3 receivers within 12 yards of where that ball landed.
So one of the things we've seen when the offense has stalled is they have put Jake Antonucci in the backfield to give him the ball. He is their best make-a-miss runner. We'll see if they elect to do that coming up. Fay with the pass in the left flats takes the ball to about the 24-yard line. That'll set up 3rd and about 4.
I like it. It's a good play. We talked earlier in the season about just giving them some confidence, and we're not having those conversations anymore. It's clear to me that the team can move the ball. And now they put themselves in a situation where it's 3rd and 4. Critical 3rd down conversion attempt right here. You don't want to punt the ball right back, but at least it's not 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 10. They gave themselves some positive yardage to set up this play.
3 receivers to his right. Wilson, swing pass.
Get a block.
Falls incomplete. There was no signal initially by the referee.
Wilson's pass
Wondering if it was a lateral, I think. So that falls to the turf harmlessly and sets up 4th and 4. Westwood is going to bring in the punt team. So first time Nick McQuarrie's put a foot into it from the punt formation tonight. 4.5 minutes left to go until the half. Not a good kick. It's a fortunate bounce, but goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
McQuarrie with the punt.
We'll take it.
You'd like that one back.
Yeah, we'll take it, though. Good bounce. That bounce gave him an extra 10 yards. You know, incredible to think that this game really turned on the pass down the sideline where Jake was out of bounds and a 4th down conversion that was half a yard short. You know, those 2 plays I point to from the Westwood side as 2 golden missed opportunities that had direct impacts on the scoreboard. At that point, it was a 7-7 game. Westwood had some momentum. The offense was really moving it. And he was out of bounds, and then if you could have converted that 4th down, you know, that drive would have continued.
Quarterback keeper going nowhere.
Elliott on the keeper.
Second and 10 for the Lancers.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Elliott gets the play call from head coach Tim McCarthy. Set up in a wing-back motion. It's given to the wing-back around the right side.
Yeah, that's Combs again.
Combs, the ball carrier.
And he has shown some good elusiveness and some good foot speed. And that was one of the few times that we've actually seen him take the ball outside. He's had success between the tackles and breaking it outside
Correction,
tonight.
a gain of 5. It is 3rd and 5 at the Westwood 40.
Westwood needs a stop here. Power I formation. Up the middle is a give to Combs, and he's going to have a first. They line up and say we're doing this, and Westwood unable to stop
Lucas
it.
Combs. Tackle by Durker is enough for a Norton first down, 1st and 10 at the Westwood
I'm looking at
33.
that play, and I was just checking the roster and seeing who was playing linebacker, Dom Huff. And he seems to be, to me, to be the guy I'd say, listen, hat on hat, wherever 33 goes, you go. And he had an opportunity there, and he kind of tripped over traffic trying to get to him.
Play action, thrown on the left sideline. Play is short, pass is short.
Elliott's pass intended for McKinley Kersley, incomplete. Defended by Drew Durker.
McKinley Kersley is a
2nd and
captain,
10.
senior wide receiver. Was the intended receiver on that play. Westwood's Drew Durker on the coverage. Second and 10. Clock stops with 2:27 left till halftime.
You know, when you watch Tyler Elliott play, he's 5'9". There's another one to Lucas.
Off the right end.
Gold is the ball carrier.
Outside linebacker did a nice job sealing the edge. Forced him back inside, and he had help there.
Down by Murray and number 75, Matthew Mason.
You're getting back to the point I was about to make about Tyler Elliott, the quarterback. Listed on the program as 5'9". When you watch him play, just a reminder to go back in time. Whenever I see a quarterback at 5'9", it reminds me of Doug Flutie. I mean, the fact
could you
that
not think of-
that kid played at 5'9" for so long
In the
professionally,
pros, yeah.
just unbelievable. When you see, even at this stage, at this level, how small a guy who's 5'9" looks behind the line.
3rd and 10, minute 43 left. Clock is running. They run motion, play action. Avoids a tackle. They had him pinned back behind the line of scrimmage, unable to bring him down.
Elliott,
He
the
runs
keeper.
for about a 12-yard gain, and that's a first down, stopping the clock
Gains enough for a first
as they
down.
move the chains.
You know, showed some elusiveness. It would have been a standout tackle. You know, it would have been a tackle where he grabbed him by the ankle while he was in the open field. But when you see it come so close, you're just licking your chops at a sack that would have really stopped the momentum. Maybe gotten the ball back. It's just crushing.
Pitches to the left side. It gets around the edge there. Brought out of bounds at about the
Connor Reynolds, the ball carrier.
15-yard line after gain of about 6.
Brought down by Jake Pfaff.
So we're down to a minute
There's a gain of
and
6
1
on the
second
play,
left at this
2nd and
point from the
4
15-yard line.
At the Westwood 15.
Going down by 3 scores would be disastrous entering the second half of this game. So Westwood did win the coin toss and elected to receive, which means Norton will receive the kickoff of the opening of the second half. So looking to do a Belichickian 2-for-1 here. And they break from the huddle and call a timeout. Want to talk it over.
That sounds very European, the Belichickian move.
Norton takes timeout.
Sounds like
22nd
something
timeout.
you'd use to describe warfare.
It is a strategy. Much like flanking, only different.
You know, it's amazing how much that works, though. And what's funny to me is how much it's really penetrated the entire league. You watch games now, and it is rare that a team will win the toss and take the football. They want to put their defense out on the field first, hopefully set the tone by making a play defensively, and then it's crazy how much. I mean, the scientific proof that he must have gone through timing-wise to sort of say, how many times do we end with the ball? It's
Right.
amazing how many times they end with the ball at the end of the first half.
Rolling to his right, looking in the end zone, falls incomplete. Coverage was good in the end
Elliott's
zone.
pass falls incomplete.
That'll set up 3rd and 5.
3rd down and 4.
Clock stops.
So we're now at 54 seconds, 3rd and 4 from the 15. Would you think that they would go for it on 4th down?
I was just wondering about that. Watching Tyler Elliott's extra points, we might be at about his max, right about here.
I'm going for it. If I'm wearing white, I'm going for it. If I'm wearing
Yeah,
white, I'm
you're
21-7.
2 and 5.
Yeah. We don't need to be kicking field goals. Who are we trying to impress with kicks?
And we have a stoppage of play, and
There's no play.
Norton called a timeout.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, it's unbelievable. That always got me. When I used to play QB and you got to the point where you actually revealed what you were going to run, it used to drive me nuts. Because then now what do? Do you run the same play?
Right.
They've gotten a quick peek at it, or are you going to call something completely different, under which circumstance you've completely blown that play call? Because now they know as a defense when you line up that way offensively what you might run, because they've at least gotten a peek at it.
Yeah, you showed your hand.
And on the flip side, I do vividly recall once playing safety and looking in the backfield once on a play where
Last chance, fans. Last chance to get
And
those
looking to add 2 seconds to the clock.
Our cheerleader coaches
54
up here
on the
in
clock.
booth right now. Stay tuned for
The
cheerleading
referees have asked that
both teams
2 seconds be added to the clock,
also have that 50-50 raffle
as
drawing.
2 seconds were knocked off the clock
Away with a bunch of
with that last play.
tonight.
but there was no play.
Right, I remember the story I was about to tell as I was playing safety once, and that same situation came up, and before the play happened, I happened to notice the running back look down the field like he was looking for a receiver, before the play ran. And I said, they're not going to try to throw the ball here, are they? And that's exactly what they did. They pitched the ball to the running back when they came out of the timeout, and they tried to throw the halfback option. So it's those little things that you got to try to pick up on when you're playing football at this level. It's players will give you tells.
It's a quarterback keeper up the middle. He is stopped for a loss.
It's a nice play right there.
Good defense.
Westwood takes a timeout here with 45 seconds left. So it's an aggressive move here. He's obviously trying to get a stop, save some time on the clock. They've shown they can have an explosive play going the other way. So I like the call. You could very easily at this point roll over and say, let's go into the locker room down 14 if we make a stop here. But I like the fact that they're showing some confidence in the defense that they can get a stop, hopefully get the ball back with about 40 seconds left, and let's see what we can do. Let's sling it down the field and try to get some points on the board.
Norton just subbed in 3 players, and it looks like they're lining up for a field goal.
Well, this should be an adventure.
And interestingly, he's not using a tee, which is allowed and does help get lift.
33-yarder.
Elliott in for a field goal try. Curiously holding.
And the kick is
The distance.
good.
Good for him.
Good.
Good for him. That's a tough kick. I don't care how old you are. Go stand out there on the 23-yard line and try to boot it through the uprights.
Norton 24. Westwood
First field goal
7.
we've seen, I believe, all year by opponent or a Wolverine.
It's funny, you look back to one of their first point after touchdown attempts, and it was ugly. So I didn't think that they were going to be able to put that through, but that was a great job. Good snap, good hold, the whole deal.
I'd say he had about 7 or 8 yards left in him.
That distance was not the issue
No.
on that kick.
Thought it might have been a good place for a fake as well. At this level, you get the defense commit to blocking the kick. Many times they commit and stop thinking about that opportunity for a tight end or the up back to run a quick out route, and there'd be no one there behind them. But
Big thanks to our runner right there. My daughter Olivia just went down and got us both hot dogs and water, earned some points. But I do notice, Olivia, that you got yourself a sun-kissed while you got me a water. It's supposed to work the other way around.
What?
Yeah, what? I know.
Elliott's kick taken at the 20. Still on his feet is Antonucci.
Go. There's nobody left. Let's go.
He gets down the sideline, breaking tackles, run out of bounds at about midfield.
Jake Antonucci on the
They're going to mark him out at the 44-yard line.
Across the 40-yard line.
After he got past everybody, he got past 9 guys. There were only 2 left, but one of those guys ran him out of bounds. There was only the kicker left after the one who pushed him out at the 44.
And that kicker is Tyler Elliott, so he's an athlete. He's doing a lot for this Lancer team.
So 27 seconds left. You got 56 yards to try to get a touchdown here. I'm curious to see what sort of plays they dial up.
You can see they're playing a press coverage on Antonucci, and the safety is already shielding right over Antonucci. So they're playing help defense on Antonucci and single coverage everywhere else. We got a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
Do you know, I think they're going to call Dylan Mahoney lining up offsides, which is crazy because he looked at him and, oh, they're calling offsides on the defense. Okay, because Dylan looked at the referee and got clearance from the referee that he was okay, and then they threw the flag. I'm like, that can't possibly be a call on Dylan.
So it was essentially a free play, but Reed didn't read that as such. And he elected to try to get an out route.
It'll be a 5-yard walk-off. 1st and 5, Westwood at their own 49.
Ball's at the 49, 22 seconds. 5 seconds ticked off on that play. Not really enough time to march down. They need a big chunk play. Norton rushing only 3. Wilson rolling right. It's got Murray there. Pass complete, out of bounds. Good for a first down for Westwood at the 42.5-yard line.
So 5 seconds off the clock. That's pretty good to gauge how long it's going to take you to move the ball down the field. It's a good play. I'd like to see, I mean, do you do 2 more of those and a shot at the end zone, 1 more of those and a couple shots at the end zone? Because once you start going to the end zone, it's going to eat up more than 5 seconds.
Right. Yeah, it takes time for those plays to develop, for those receivers to run those deep routes. First and 10, ball at the 42. Rolling left is Wilson. Stops to avoid the rush. Avoids that. We're going to find the sideline to stop the clock with 8 seconds left. So I think right now we're in the take a shot.
You know, here I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
All right? Here's what I'm going to say. On this play here, I want to get 6 yards. I'm going to do something short on the left side because that's where the ball is. Give me 6 yards so I can trust that Reed can get the ball to the end zone. Because if he's going to heave it here, does he have the arm right now to throw the ball 48, 49 yards in the air to the end zone? It's probably going to be a tough. I mean, I know he's got a strong arm, but that's asking a lot.
Well, the other side of that is he needs time for the players to run 40-yard routes.
Give me 6 yards and get it out with 2 seconds.
Well, let's see what they dial up here. 3 receivers to his left. Murray, the sole receiver, to his right.
Going deep.
And he's got double coverage there. They both fall down.
Oh.
The pass is out of bounds.
Pass caught by Antonucci out of bounds.
They had double coverage on Antonucci, and they knocked each other down. So he was left alone, but it looks like the ball was thrown out of bounds. One of the Lancers is down.
An official's timeout, injury timeout.
2 seconds remain in this first half. 24-7, the score with Norton in the lead.
You know, they got down the field, and he wasn't open, and their legs got tangled, and he was open.
Yeah.
You know, because the defender went down, and unfortunately he's hurt right now, and then Jake was falling to the ground, and when he fell, he unfortunately fell out of bounds. All right, Chris, while we're here, and listen, there's 2 seconds left on the clock. You could have gotten 6 yards. And he threw that ball to about the 8.
Yeah, you got about the 8.
Whatever, we'll see how it plays out. You know what kind of play I'd call here this time of season? As things have gone, a hook and ladder. Give it to me. You know what, why not? This is the perfect scenario for it. It's either you're going to throw a Hail Mary or you're going to try to get a defense to overcommit. But obviously now most people, and I certainly don't mean to be disrespectful, a lot of concern for the player who's injured right now. We understand that. Both sidelines have their players on their knees, and we wish nothing but the best for him.
Looks like they're working on a left leg, lower leg. And Paul Lilla, the trainer for Westwood, is out there overseeing. Looks like Norton brought their own trainer. So on the fall down where both defenders went down, one of them, and He's up slowly, but he's up and
It's
getting off.
Liam
the field.
Connaughton. Liam Connaughton's the kid who was hurt, number 26. He's a 150-pound senior defensive back. He also plays some split end. So here we go, 2 seconds left. Let's see how creative we get.
One of the other offensive players who's emerged this season, underclassman, is junior John Hannon. Look to see big things from him next year. Reed is now going to take a timeout, but not, unfortunately, after the delay of game call flag.
No play. There's a flag on the field.
Reed took too long to make that timeout call, and he's going to get flagged. Looks like 5 yards.
Oh, they gave him the timeout.
Yeah, they're giving him the timeout. Pick the flag up.
There's no flag. Westwood took timeout. No flag.
You'll note that the back judge on the defensive side, since there is no play clock on the high school fields, certainly not one at each end for each opposing quarterback, when he raises his hand, that means he has 5 seconds left to get the play off. So the quarterback will be looking at him. 10 seconds.
That'd be misleading. I mean, if I'm looking over the field, how do you know? Do I have 9 seconds or do
Right.
I have 3?
When did that hand go up? That's all we have.
It should be
hand
5.
signals.
It should be 5.
Here we go. Wilson back. Norton rushing
Pressure.
4. He's going to run.
Penalty.
Likely a hold. Wilson goes down hard.
Reed Wilson
To
on
the
the
turf.
keeper. There is a flag on the play.
And it is going to be a hold against Westwood.
Signal is
Declined,
a penalty against
and that's going to
Westwood,
bring the end of the
which
first
has been
half.
declined.
With the score Norton 24, Westwood
And that is the end of
7.
the first half.
So a very good first play to start for Westwood, but other than that, they have not been able to do much.
We got some work to do here in the locker room. Let's see how these guys gather. We'll come back in the second half and hopefully have some more positive news to share with you.
So we're back here getting ready to start the second half kickoff. And Nick McCory is out there now, not Jake Antonucci, to kick the ball deep. Presumably kick the ball deep. They have been running some pooch kicks down to about the 25-yard line. But this time he just puts his all into it, gets it down to about the 9-yard line. Looks like that was McKinley Kearsley on the return, number 8.
Chris, I spoke with the officiating crew at halftime.
I saw them having hot dogs and sharing popcorn.
I had to get some clarity on the signals that the back judge uses as the time clock is going down.
Okay.
So when it goes straight up, that means you got 10 seconds. At the 5-second mark, he puts it down and goes straight out at a 90-degree angle. So that's how the quarterback's able to determine whether it's within 10 seconds or within 5 seconds.
I almost made it the whole day without learning something.
You know,
thank you. You saved me.
I'm committed to reporting the truth. Learning where we can.
Give is off left tackle again. Play's going to go for about 5 or 6 yards. Lucas Combs again on the carry. He is their go-to man.
A tackle made by Berluti. It is 2nd down and 6 at the Norton 30.
What they're not getting is filling that hole by the linebackers at the second tier. The outside linebackers are doing a good job making sure it doesn't get outside. But there's no one there. Here it is again. Oh, there's Matt Berluti there.
Good job.
Does fill the hole. They ran the exact same play again.
Yeah, great job by Berluti there. And he's the one who had the contact on the previous play and, got a little run over on the previous play. But that was a really good job of stepping up, and it sets up a 3rd and 1. And this is where the onus is going to fall on the guys up front. You got big bodies up there trying to get a push, and I'm designating one linebacker. Wherever 33 goes, you go.
Yeah, if
somebody else beats us, fine, but not him.
He's alone in the backfield. And they go with a quarterback sneak. And looks like they got the push. It's going to make it close anyway. Let some dust settle and see where they mark this.
Elliott on the keeper.
And they're going to give him the first.
Gain of 1 on the play, good enough for a first down. 1st and 10, Norton at their own 34-yard line.
So Norton has a first down on the 34-yard line. 24-7 our score as we're just underway in this third quarter. It's a quarterback keep, or the second man through.
Yep.
Now that's a quarterback keeper,
Yep.
Tyler Elliott.
Elliott
Big
on the
gain.
keeper. Gets inside the Westwood
43 yards.
I was going to say, it's about a 40-yard run there. My math was escaping
Yeah.
me.
It's all right. That's why I stay quiet for a couple of seconds. I try to figure it out, but it's not easy.
So another big chunk on the ground here by the Lancers.
That was right up the gut. You know, it's funny. They're sending a receiver wide right, but I can count on one hand and have a couple fingers left over the amount of times that they've thrown to that guy. And I'm not saying that you can't cover them, but they're basically making it a 9-on-9 game.
Well, when the running game is working,
That's a great job. It's
they
Berluti
blitz
again.
Berluti up the middle, and
42, Bailey Lenhart, the ball carrier.
he was just going to tackle that guy no matter what.
Good.
Whether he had the
Good.
ball or not.
And Berluti came out. He's a senior. He knows it's senior night. This is the last half. I mean, you might get one more game here over the next couple of weeks, and that's unpredictable, though. It's not guaranteed. So it's possible this might be the last time he plays on this field. Unlikely, but possible. And he's come out angry these first couple of plays.
And Westwood this year playing their Thanksgiving opponent Holliston in Holliston. So for the seniors, they're done with their Thanksgiving home games. And we will wait till early next week to find out who the opponent will be and where they will play next week's game. So it's a loss of 3, and we have a penalty. Might back them up another 5 with a delay game.
I knew that was coming.
No play.
I was watching.
I read the signs.
It was a timeout.
I wasn't about to yell, hurry up.
No, they're not going to call the penalty, as coincidentally a timeout was called right when the flag was called, or just before.
Tricky. Oh, we saw it go the other way in the first half. So now they're down to what, 72 timeouts? 4. Okay. At least some of them are short. That was a short little timeout.
Yeah, the 20-second variety are not nearly as
There is a lot of
difficult
clock
to
stoppage,
follow.
though. You know, a lot of clock stoppage. With all the timeouts and then on first downs, as you get towards the end of each quarter, it's the clock stopping.
second
very
and 13.
frequently.
Combs in motion. Second man through, number 44, the ball carrier. That's Michael McNichols. He picks up about 4.
Nichols, the ball carrier.
It's going to make it 3rd and 9.
Tackled by Murray.
This is about where they kicked the field goal last possession to end the first half, or their last possession of the first half.
3rd down, 9.
Really would like to keep them as far back as possible, though they may be in 4-down territory. Pass incomplete. Covered there by Drew Durker.
Pass incomplete.
That's a good job across the board. That was a play that was open and ultimately came down to one-on-one coverage, and Durker
Broken up by
didn't
Durker.
initially have the greatest coverage on him, but he was able to recover and he was able to smack the ball out of there just as it arrived.
He was behind him as you
Fourth down and
want
9.
to be, but the receiver definitely had position to catch the ball, but Drew did just enough to disrupt the pattern.
Yeah, good job. So you got
pass.
yourself a 4th down now? How about that?
4th
4th
and
9. So
9.5.
this would be a 40-yarder. I'd almost like to see him try, but just to see if he had the leg.
Maybe a drop kick here. It's a quarterback keep up the middle,
Yeah.
and that's going nowhere. Colin Best throwing him to the ground. That's going to be a turnover on downs.
Elliott on the keeper. Brought down by Colin.
And we have Owen Pfaff is down, grabbing his right leg.
Officials timeout. Injury timeout.
So many of the guys up front all year. It's just incredible. The defensive line has been snake bitten. That's Plouffe. You mentioned previously that Best has been dealing with something. Connor Powers dealing with a bad knee. We saw James Dawson go out earlier. It's just been a position where they have been hammered time and time again this year.
Yeah, and in high school football, where the running game is so much more of a factor, because it's just more difficult to get blocking, passing, and catching all on the same page frequently. The run game plays a big part in high school football, and when the defense doesn't have a line that you've been working with all summer and they keep falling down injured, it's very difficult to have continuity and performance.
Yeah, so Declan Burke comes out, and we saw Declan get banged up earlier this year. He had a shoulder/elbow injury earlier in the year, which obviously hasn't lingered, so he's out there now. And Declan's a junior, wears number 72.
He's the center. We've taken the ball over on downs.
Oh.
Reed Wilson has the offense.
Chris, forgive me. I thought he would fill the gap there.
But Declan Burke is, in fact, out there.
He is, and he wears number 72. And that's a good snap.
Wilson looks to his left.
Oh.
Not much zip on that throw. Intended, looks like, for Hannon.
Intended for Hannon, incomplete.
Didn't have a lot of zip on that. It just kind of floated out there.
But the snap from Declan was
Spot
fantastic.
on. Top shelf variety. Second and 10 for the Wolverines. Really need a spark here. Down 23 points. Take that back. 17 points.
It's okay. It's
Public
Friday
school
night.
math. Sorry. Wilson looking same pattern, same pass. It's caught there by Hannon. Gain of about 5. It's going to set up 3rd and 5.
Wilson's pass complete to Hannon.
We've seen it a couple times from these guys tonight where they catch it and they actually run back towards the line of scrimmage looking to get some space, and they haven't been able to get free. At some point in time, you just got to take what you've earned, take what you've been given, and get down and cherish every yard you can get.
Third and 5. Wilson a swing pass. The back out of the backfield. It's like Shamar Hall on that reception.
And did the best he could. There was nothing there, but I like the fact he just sort of put his head down and said, I'm going to get what I can. And he wasn't able to get much.
Going to bring up 4th and 4. Got about a yard on that.
At this point of the game, you're looking at 16 and a half more minutes of football.
4th down and 5.
You're down 17. I know you got the ball on your own 30-yard line, but when you're 1 and 5, I'm not saying that you don't play football the right way, but I have no problem with them going for a first down on this 4th and 5.
Wilson's got Fay along with him in the backfield. Norton showing blitz. They're bringing a blitz. Steps up out of the pressure. Looking for something to do with it. He's stopped there short of the first down, and that's going to be a turnover on downs at the 32-yard line.
Brought down short of the line.
And Norton will have outstanding field position.
He had no time to do anything. I mean, the second that he looked down the field, he had 3 black helmets with white jerseys right in front of his face. And actually, I think he thought about kicking it. There was a point there, and he said, let me try to get rid of this, but there was just no space because once he got past the initial push of the defensive linemen, there were the linebackers and safeties who were right up in his grill as well at about the 32-yard line.
Would have likely been met with a penalty because they had too many runners downfield. Once again, runners just keep pushing the pile. First down yardage of about 7 yards. Westwood just seemingly unable. It's been happening all season long, since the first game of the year. The pile just moves against them. Second and 3. Elliott up to the line in the power I formation. They've run, you've got the slot on the left side, power left. They run off tackle left usually out of this formation, and that's what they run. And nice tackle there by Shamar Hall, outside linebacker.
Holmes, the ball carrier.
Gain of about a half a yard.
And Berluti.
At this point, the defense has been out there a lot longer than the offense has. So I give credit to these guys. I know they've been facing a lot of pressure situations, but here's another one right here, and you got to assume that Norton's probably going to try to get it over the course of 2 downs rather than just 1 down. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to throw it here.
They give to the motion man off the right edge, finding nowhere to go. He's brought down quickly.
Connor Reynolds, the ball carrier.
Brian Murray looks like the one on the tackle.
By Brian Murray.
Now you got to do it again. A great job by Brian there. They haven't run many of those around the edge, particularly with a kid with speed like that. And Brian sniffed it out immediately.
So that's going to bring up 4th and 5, a long 5, from the 27-yard line.
Loss of 2, it is 4th down and 5.
Same set, same motion. Drops back to pass. Short pass. Ball is caught. Pushed out of bounds. Good for a first down.
Give it to him. Tiptoeing out of bounds. Great job on the catch. That's your player of the game.
It is another first down.
There was a high school coach in Texas where it was celebrated that he never punted.
Yeah.
No matter what. And people question that, and ultimately he said, we're playing high school teams. There's a very good chance we're going to convert.
Right. I've seen that, and I've also seen the guy who onside kicks every time. That's his philosophy. Every single time they onside kick, and they get a lot of them. Runs up a lot of scores.
Off tackle left side. He's going in for the score.
That
goes Coombs.
Is an 18-wheeler going downhill on that play right there.
It's a 20-yard run. That puts Norton up 30-7 with 2:22 left to go in his third quarter.
20-yard touchdown run, Combs.
That was wide open from the get-go.
Yeah, once again, that off-tackle play. They have the outside linebacker setting the edge, probably giving himself up too much, taking himself a bit out of the play. In this case, it was Shamar Hall, I believe, or Brian Murray. Extra point is on the way and good. But there's no one filling that off-tackle hole, but the hole between the tight end and the tackle. And that's what's been working for them so much tonight. Westwood now chasing 24 points, 31-7 our score. And we talked at halftime about the situation that the Wolverines are in this season. 1 win coming into tonight's game. Like to see something changed up a bit to ensure that the kids enjoy this season. Try having some fun. You mentioned hook and ladder.
Yeah.
Do something.
Run a reverse. At this point, it's tough for these guys to come to practice. You know, they've been here since August, day in and day out. Haven't seen the results that they've wanted to see on the field. Certainly getting used to a new head coaching philosophy. But you got, at this stage of the game, you got to shake it up a little bit by doing some stuff that's going to make them excited to come to practice.
Elliott's kick goes to the up man, Durker. He gets around end, going to get good field position out of this run back. Good run by Drew Durker, the senior. Well done.
Drew Durker returned the kickoff. Brought down at the Norton 48-yard line across midfield. Tackle made by number 40, Nicholas Habib. First and
I
10,
believe,
Westwood at the Norton 48.
just recall, I don't believe Norton has lined up in punt formation tonight. I cannot recall them having done that.
No, I think you're right.
So Westwood takes over on offense at the 48-yard line of the Lancers. First and 10.
Go.
Give it to Antonucci up the middle. Bounces out to the right, and he's gone for 48.
Jake Antonucci takes the handoff. Touchdown, Westwood.
Well, they say sometimes they put Antonucci in the backfield to ensure he gets the ball in his hands. One play, and he's in. And wow, a quick answer.
And the comeback is on. That was a good job.
Shades of Super Bowl 51.
It was blocked well. He had
48-yard touchdown run.
an immediate opportunity to break it. It's not like he had to make any moves to get around anybody. And once he saw nothing but green in front of him, he just hit the Jets and went untouched into the end zone.
Wilson holding.
All speed on that one. Ooh, big boot is good.
Kick is good.
Worried about my car getting
I
hit.
think that's out in the Hatton Street
seriously.
somewhere.
31.
Gonna send him the bill.
Westwood 14.
He actually, kicking the other way, it did go into the woods. I'm not sure if we ever recovered that one.
Put it on the tab.
If he was a freshman and had 3 more years here, that tab could get quite big. So that makes the score 31-14. Still Lancer lead, but Westwood, a little chink in the armor there.
Yeah, a
for the
little life,
Lancers.
too. I mean,
So we've had 2 big plays for offense, both in 175 yards, 148, both involving Mr. Antonucci ending up in the end zone. So Nick will get a second chance to put his foot into this one.
Yeah, and I think you're still at the point where you're kicking it deep. You have to put some sort of faith in the defense that you put Norton back in their own territory and try to make a defensive play here. Either force a turnover or get them off the field quickly on a punt, which we haven't seen all night, as you just referenced. And then try to get that offense back on the field as quickly as possible, even before this third quarter ends. We've got 2 minutes to go.
McQuarrie in the kickoff.
No, he's lined short. They're going for an onside, I think, or a pooch kick, maybe around the 30-yard line. They've done that this year.
Oh,
That's not going to go 10.
Get there. Oh,
It's going to be out of bounds. Went about 7 or 8 yards in total. He took a bad angle going up to the ball, and there was no way that ball was going to make 10 yards.
so, I mean, the downside of that is obviously this. They have the ball now on the 48-yard line. They have a short field to try to go in, and all of a sudden, all that momentum you just had
48-yard line.
is gone with them up conceivably 38-14. So more than ever at this point, you got to do everything you can to try to get the ball. Got to get the ball.
And you understand, if you take the risk, there's a chance we might get the ball, but that had no chance. So they took all the risk and had no chance of reward.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
First and 10, Norton at the Westwood 48.
Let's see what the D can do.
Give is up the middle,
There you go.
bounces up to the left
There you go.
side. Brought down there by a couple of Westwood Wolverines after a gain of about 3.
Good job. That's a big kid.
McNichols, the ball
McNichols
carrier.
comes in there with some power.
Tackled by
That's tough to
Pfaff.
stop. But Chris did a good job around the right side there, bringing him
Three on the
down.
Play, 2nd and 7 at the Westwood 45.
That'll bring up 2nd and 7. 3 yards on the carry. Minute 20 left to go in the third. Clock is running.
I'll give Norton this. I think that they've been unpredictable in terms of when they run versus when they pass, which makes it difficult for a defensive coordinator to dial up blitzes.
Another power eye off left tackle. There's a takedown block deep.
Combs, the ball carrier.
Play went for a first down easily.
Tackled
Combs
by Brian
again.
Murray.
And I think they brought some heat. You know, that's kind of goes to my point where they were hoping, maybe thinking that they might throw the ball there. They rushed a lot of guys towards the line of scrimmage, and then once Lucas got past that initial 2-yard area, he was clear. That's why he was able to zip down the field to the 32.
First down for the Lancers. Clock continues to run. Give is up the middle. First man through. Wolverines just ran right past him, unaware that he had the football. And he's going for a first down.
McNichols, the ball carrier. Tackled by Howe.
Seems like a lot of high schools run this type of offense. That's going to bring us to the end of the third quarter. They run these offenses where the defense really has a hard time finding who has the ball. They don't just run the old power eye with Walter Payton where they were giving him, where they had time to see quarterback roll, reversing out. Here it's a quick hit, and the defensive line really, if you don't have your heads up, the guy is by you before you have a chance to make a play, and that's what we saw right there. Even the second tier didn't see who had the ball, and he just kept running for a first down.
Yeah, with a lot of the teams, too. We've seen it in the Pembroke game. We've seen it in the Holliston game. Medway ran a lot of the same offense when I saw them play. Millis did not. They were a little bit different. Seen them play this year. Neither Melrose or Stoneham did that. I've seen them play this year. But many of the teams in this league have chosen to run the offense that really fools you with misdirection a lot. Tries to get people out of position.
And Westwood does have a different offensive package where they'll run Jake Antonucci getting a direct snap from the center with two lead blockers. And they've abandoned that because they've been down so much. It's a running offense. But they've been down so much, so long. It really wasn't the right time ever to bring that out.
Pearl sort of circles connecting each part. It might be a kid's bracelet. Please check
so
your
I think
jewelry. Please
we have
check
second
your
and
kids'
one.
jewelry for any missing
They
bracelets
caught him just
or
shy of the
anklets or
first
anything
down
like
on the
that.
previous
Thank you.
play.
It's up here.
Give is up the middle. He's
tackle.
going to be stopped. No gain. That's McNichols again.
And Matthew Mason had great penetration, stuffed the hole,
McNichols, the ball carrier.
sets up a third down. That's textbook right there.
That's what you want out of your defensive line.
That was it.
Run, stop. So that sets up 3rd and 1.
Nice. I think I see Plouffe out there again, too, which is good because he left earlier with the injury. I think he's been out there this whole drive.
3rd and 1 at the Westwood 23.
The pitch is off the left side.
Get him.
And he's tackled forward. Instead of stopping him, Brian Murray dragged him forward over the line to gain for a first down.
The ball carrier.
It's likely his momentum was going to take him that way anyway, but
Murray gains enough for a first down. 1st and 10. Norton at the Westwood 21.
so that's a first down for the Lancers at the 21 of Westwood. 31-14 our score. Norton in the lead. 9:56 left to go in this one. Quarterback keeper up the middle. Stopped very quickly. Not fooled on that play.
Elliott on the keeper. Brought down by Berluti.
2nd and 8.
A gain of 2 on the play. 2nd and 8 at the Westwood 19.
I did notice one of their best run stoppers, Colin Best, was sitting over here on the sidelines on the bench. He's now making his way over to the sidelines, but showing no real indication of trying to get back in. So maybe his leg is done. Around the right end goes McNichols. Penalty flag is thrown towards the end of the play.
Lucas Combs, the ball carrier.
No, that was Lucas Combs.
There is a flag on the play.
Looks like the play would have been good enough for a first down, but we have a holding call against Norton.
Against Norton.
Haven't seen many of those.
No.
They've been playing pretty well. I mean, they haven't, for a team that came in with a bad record, just as Westwood has a bad record this year, they have not been playing very sloppy.
I have to say, this might be one of the better games to my memory for penalties for Westwood as well. We've had some, but we've had a lot this season. Seems like many times we have a good gain and it comes back for holding. So that sets up 2nd and 10 for Elliott and his offense.
See, here's the unpredictability. You would think pass, but they haven't shown that all
double
night.
Tight, double wing.
There you go. There's the run.
McNichols gets the ball. Good for about 5.
McNichols, the ball carrier. Tripped up by Jake Pfaff.
They're just not afraid to run the ball. They don't have the respect for the defense and the defense's ability to stop it. So when you get yourself in that situation, it's hard to dial up a defense because you don't know what type of play might be coming at you.
Gain of 3, and then it's 3rd down and 5.
I think at this point it would be safe to say we're committing to the run on a defensive perspective. And if they pass, they pass. But the run is doing them in. Westwood, that is. McNichols in the backfield. It's a quarterback keep.
Oh.
Smothered there.
Yeah, he just went into the trees. He didn't stand a chance on that play. I look at the 5'9" quarterback, kind of pogo sticking his way through the line of scrimmage. It's like, oh boy, that's not going to end well for him.
Matt Mason in on the tackle.
Gain of 1 on the play.
Colin Best does find himself in the action.
Going for another field goal.
Going for a field goal. This will be
it's another 32-yarder
from the 22, so it'll be a 32-yarder. It's blocked. And the kicker has the ball, and that's not the kicker.
That was McKinley Kearsley who came up with it.
Oh.
So good job, good penetration on the kick. Great job blocking the kick. A very good job by Norton, too, making sure that it didn't get returned.
Penalty was against Norton, and it's declined, so Wolverines will take over on the block punt. It's technically a turnover on downs. So Reed Wilson, 6:43 left to go in the 4th quarter. 31-14 our score.
How much time they took off the clock. I mean, they got that ball in the 3rd quarter after that onside kick that went awry. And we're already down to almost the midway point of the 4th quarter.
Wilson calling out the signals. The give is to Antonucci off the right side. He stopped after a gain of about 4, maybe 3. 3.
For a number of reasons. First of all, being that you're down 17 points. But second of all, it's great experience. This would be a really good time to get them in a 2-minute situation, to get them to run it, to feel comfortable with it in a game scenario, because you might need it under a much more pressure-packed situation later, even this season.
We have not seen that displayed so far this year. Ball tipped at the line again.
But if you just do the math, it's almost impossible to come back. If you're taking 25 seconds between plays, 30 seconds between plays, it's just you're not going to have enough time.
And you're handing the ball off, admittedly to your best ball carrier, but you can't count on him going 75 each time.
But they're also at the point where I understand them saying, let's just try to make some positive offensive plays and get those on tape so we can look at them. I get it. I get where we are.
3rd and 7 from the 21. Wilson rolling to his left.
No.
Ball is picked off by McKinley Kearsley and taken in for a score. A pick 6.
Intercepted by McKinley Kearsley. return for a touchdown.
That's not what we wanted to say.
Did a great job jumping the route. I mean, there's not many places that Reed Wilson can go with the ball when he's rolling out left with one receiver in the flat. So you're not taking much of a gamble when you try to cut that route as a defensive back. And McKinley did a good job reading it quickly, getting out there in the flat, and making the play and then bringing it back for a touchdown.
So we're getting ready to line up for the extra point. 5:44 remain in this one. The ball sails through the uprights for the extra point. And makes the score 38-14 Norton in the lead.
I'm telling you, you see those extra points and it brings you back to the field goal he made here in the first half and you ask yourself, how did he make that kick? Or these extra points are ugly going through. But that field goal was something else earlier.
He doesn't need the focus with the extra point.
Yeah, I guess not.
So we talked about the Tri-Valley small. The Tri-Valley large. Hopkinton is atop the Tri-Valley Large. They have a 3-0 league record, 6-0 overall. They're followed by Medfield at 5-1 overall, 3-1 in the Tri-Valley. Holliston comes in at 3-2 overall, and they have a 2-1 record in league. And Norton is at 2-4 overall, 0-3, and Westwood at 1-5, and also 0-3 in the Tri-Valley League competition. Tonight's action also is Walpole as at Medfield, and Holliston is against Hopkinton.
That's a good one. Check and see what's happening at that Holliston-Hopkinton game.
Ball kicked down to about the 6-yard line, taken at the 5 by Antonucci. He's going to go cross field looking for some magic. Picks up a block there, a little bit of a seam, but that closes quickly. And we got a flag after the play.
There is a flag on the play. Tackle made by Combs and number 37, Jack Padalano.
See what the call is. Personal foul against Norton. I think there was some extracurricular activity going on after the tackle was made.
So you mentioned the Holliston-Hopkinton game. Here's the update. Great high school football game going on. Fourth quarter, Holliston trails Hopkinton 10-8. with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the game.
Boy, I give credit to that Holliston defense for keeping Hopkinton to 10 points. We saw them light us up 3 offensive plays in a row. 4 first play
Westwood at their own 34.
touchdowns. And it was really difficult to play defense against that Hopkinton quarterback.
Medfield's beating Walpole 36-20 right now.
Fumbled snap by Reed Wilson.
Get on it.
Falls on it. Clock will run, and 5:22 left.
Fell on the loose ball. Westwood ball. Loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13.
Second and 13.
31.
Ball's on the 31-yard line.
Power of Twitter, man. Much different than what it was back when we were in high school. If you want to find out the score of a game, just punch in a keyword. In this case, either Medfield or Holliston or Hopkinton, and boom. Somebody's there giving you an update as to what's happening.
Wilson gives to Fay up the middle, going very, very short. Might get back to the original line of scrimmage. Just shy of that's going to bring up 3rd and 11.
Fay, the ball carrier.
Looks like Coach Pindell is trying to get some seniors who otherwise don't see much playing time in tonight's game. 3rd and 12. Passing down. Fay is in the backfield along with Wilson. He's looking over the middle to Patrick Wade, underthrown, intercepted. He goes down at the 44-yard line.
That's Liam Connaughton. That's the kid who got hurt at the end of the second quarter on the play that went down the left sideline. He had an injured knee, but he was able to come back and made a big play there. That was a low percentage throw. Receiver didn't really have much space to try to make a play, and then the pass came up a bit short.
And that receiver was Patrick Wade, a senior wide receiver, who was brought in on that play. So Norton takes over on the interception. 38-14, they have the lead. 3 minutes, 40 seconds remain. McKinley up the middle. Stopped after a gain of about 3.
You know, and it's too bad this is the 4th home game that the Wolverines have had this year, and there just hasn't been even the slightest bit of buzz, because there hasn't been a time this season where they've been in a game. You know, very early in these games there's been some signs of promise, but we just haven't been able to see the crowd get fully into it as you'd like to see. I mean, the Den's been quiet tonight. Can't fault them for that. They show up, which is great. It's a USA theme today. Everyone was decked out in their red, white, and blue, but it's just a frustrating series of events when a team is struggling on the field. It sort of trickles down into the crowd experience as well.
There's a flag on the play. Tackled by Brian Murray.
That was Sean McNichols who came around on the end around. Had a positive game, but a holding call is made against Norton. That'll back him up 10. That'll set up second and about 17. 16, call it. Bounces out to the left side. That's Nate Sicard, freshman. Getting some time in on this one.
Sicard, the ball carrier. Tackled by Durker.
Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. That'll set up 3rd and 10.
3rd down and 10.
See senior Matt Beluti coming out of this one. Tyler Elliott's still in there, the junior quarterback. Oh, you take that back. He's been replaced. Handoff up the middle. Goes for about 3 on 4th down. That'll be a turnover on downs. But that'll set up 4th down. Can't quite make out the number of that quarterback.
It's 10, and I don't see a number 10 on their
10.
roster.
Kevin Cote. Gain of 3 on the play, 4th and 7.
4th and 7. Norton will go for it, electing to not use the punting game that they have not had to use all game.
Maybe they don't have a punter.
Could be. Give us up the middle and stopped. So Westwood will take over with a minute left.
Tackled by Michael Hanlon Jr. Help for number 25, Rowan Curtin. Stop short.
Mike Hanlon in on that tackle.
Over on downs, 1st and 10.
And we're going to have, looks like equivalent of a line change in hockey. All new players out on the field for Westwood for this last minute of play on offense. Coach Pindell kind of emptying the bench.
So this is going to be a little Bob Greasy, Brian Greasy moment right here. We're going to have Chris Pfaff under center. Jake Pfaff under center with Chris Pfaff behind the mic.
Yeah. With some more time left on the clock, perhaps. But with a minute left, I think we'll see 2 running plays, and that'll do
A
it.
couple of runs, I don't know. Let him uncork one deep for the end zone.
I'd like to see that.
Why not? I mean, why not?
They might lose yardage.
What are we doing? Let's go.
Timeout was called as Coach Pindell sauntered out to the huddle to consult with his offense. Ball's on the 40, 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. The quarterback keep. Brought down just shy of the line of scrimmage.
For 3, Jake Pfaff and a quarterback.
That was a read option, it looked like. Or it might have been a design keeper.
On the keeper, brought down by Jack Catalano.
All right, I'm imploring you on this final
Okay,
play
2nd and 10.
to at least call the quarterback by name. This is a good opportunity for you. "28 ticks on the clock. This is probably it."
Quarterback Jake Pfaff in the pistol. He's got running back alongside him. Receivers to his right and to his left. And the give is to Chris, whose name I will not attempt. Bezdenu.
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 That's good.
And that's going to be the end of this one.
Ball carrier, brought down by Nate Sicard.
Another unfortunate
And that is the last play of the game. Final score,
ending
Norton 38,
for an
Westwood 14.
non-competitive game for Westwood. 38-14 was the score as it was quickly wiped off of the board.
Understandably. Listen, great time. Thank you very much. Gorgeous night. Seniors, congratulations. Go out strong. I know it hasn't been the greatest season so far. If you've lasted this long into this video, we appreciate that. We appreciate the effort that you put in. There's still a couple of more games. Make them count. Continue to learn. Continue to get better. Continue to support each other, because that's what the sport of football is all about. And you guys are learning a lot each and every day. But Chris, thanks very much for letting me tag along for a couple of rides this fall.
It's
It's
been
been fun.
Thank you very much for joining us here in the booth. I'm Chris Pfaff for Tom Leyden. Visit us next time we have a home game here at Westwood Football. Take care, everybody.